Hello and welcome to Not One Right Way, the podcast. It's me, your co-host, Melissa Manuel, she, her, and
It's me, the other co-host, Margaret Meadowalking Yaga, they, them, theirs.
hello, Marv. It's been so long since we've recorded. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Upright, I'm speaking, and coherent. The last time we tried to record, uh, I woke up from a daze, and Melissa said, "You look tired," and I was.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you're a little more well rested. You were sick at the time too, which didn't help.
I was sick. I was sick. Yeah, I'm feeling better.
Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better. Um, I love you and thanks for being here.
How are you doing?
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm feeling amazing. I'm like in a daze. Mostly I don't know how to describe this. I don't know if other people feel this way when they find something they love, a hyperfixation, if you will. That's what I'm feeling right now. Like super in high. I don't know. Is this what it's like to be on drugs? I don't know, but I feel amazing.
We should
Yeah,
drug the call.
I didn't. I never did. I know you. No cops listening. You legally, if you're a cop, you're supposed to be listening. But I didn't.
Yeah, at the age of 21, when it's legal to do recreational drugs, I may or may not have done some.
Yeah, but I don't know what it feels like. But if it feels like this, I get it. I watched all of Hell of a Boss yesterday for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And I feel amazing. It's the best. I'm in love.
Yeah.
I just I wanna shout it. I wanna tell everybody how amazing it is. I will wanna watch it again. I'm listening to the songs. I It's like when I read Percy Jackson for the first time or watched Once Upon a Time. It's like that. It's like that. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm feeling totally normal.
You're not feeling totally normal, and I love that. This is what I want for you all the time.
Yeah.
For the listeners, so they know. Um, I received a message from Melissa sometime this afternoon, like, actually just get me Hell of a Boss for Christmas.
Yeah. I dropped the link. I said, "This is it. This is all I want for Christmas. Get me the little, Moxie and Millie. They sit on your computer. Super cute.
Aw,
I'd love
they are
that."
cute.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
good, good to know.
yeah, that's
So
me.
I wasn't aware that this was all happening today. Uh, but the doctor lined up. The doctor lined up.
I wanna ask you what you watch, Marv, but I feel like we should introduce our guest, and then we can all talk about it together.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just interjecting with my laughter.
I love it. Our guest is amazing. They're so talented, and they are someone I've followed online, like a casual stalker, but as a fan. Um, their name is Breana Navickas. They're a storyboard revisionist and an indie showrunner, a star. Welcome.
Howdy. Yeah, that's me, Bree Navickas, and I'm a storyboard revisionist at Disney TV Animation on Sofia the First Royal Magic currently. And
Let's go.
I've worked in production management as well. So I've been on like both sides, like the creative and the art side of things in the professional animation industry. But yeah, like Melissa said, I'm a indie showrunner now as well because I created a indie show called The Three Tomes, which released its pilot episode in animatic form on the 24th of October. And everybody should watch it, please. I'm a
Everybody
very
should watch
small
it.
creator, so I'm not super popular, but I want people to watch it. And yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff in it. Black magical girls and vampire romance and 2010s nostalgia for the millennials. If you like Buffy, Vampire Diaries, Interview with the Vampire, Fruits
The
Basket,
Night
Sailor
World
Moon,
by
Card
L.J.
Captor
Smith.
Sakura. Yeah, if you like all that stuff, I just did that, but I made it very black and millennial in 2010. So there you go.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is also what I'm watching. I watched that today, and it's it's very good. scratches the itch of many things I liked when I was a kid.
Yay, that's what I want. That's what I wanted to do.
Marv, what are you watching?
Um, well, it's December. So starting December 1st, I did start
Christmas?
watching. Yes,
Nice.
Christmas themed rom-coms are my favorite. The cheesier hallmarky they are, the
Ah,
better.
The better, the better.
young woman coming back to her hometown, down
Yeah,
in her luck, like, I wonder what'll happen. Meets a handsome man at a bookshop, and I don't
Yeah.
know. They hate each other, but then they slowly
Like,
fall in love.
her life is so shit because she hasn't gotten married yet. That's the only thing that'll make it better.
yeah. You know what this woman needs? A man. Because all the Christmas tree farm. Yeah.
I love it.
So stand-up one was here was A Merry Little Xmas. Uh, it's new. It's on Netflix. It's actually quite sad. It's just like,
Oh,
wow, a family really going through a divorce during Christmas time. Randomly, there's two gay
is that
grandpa.
like the one? Okay. They gotta have the random gay side characters.
Gotta throw that in there.
Mhm. For diversity.
Yeah,
It's like that Danny DeVito one we watched last year, where it was all about divorce, but it was also a Christmas movie.
What?
yeah, yeah.
Some
We
Danny
watched it
DeVito
last
Christmas movie?
There is. It's in Italy, and it's about divorce.
Oh, okay. Well, good for Danny DeVito. Happy for him, I think.
Yeah. He wasn't getting divorced.
Yeah.
He
We
was just
watched it for Danny DeVito,
oh, okay. Okay. Cool, cool, cool.
and then we're like, "Oh, this is about divorce." Not what we thought this was gonna be,
Mm-mm-mm.
but I'm glad you're watching Christmas movies, Marv.
Thank you.
For context, Brie, in October, Marv watched a scary movie every day of the month, so it's just on theme of, like,
Yeah.
Okay, okay. What was one of your favorite horror films or scary movies that you watched during October? Like, or maybe not favorite, but like, oh, a one that was like, oh, this is really good.
Mhm. I really enjoyed The Substance. Oh,
Ooh, I still haven't seen that one, but I heard it was very gnarly in like a good way and hard
yeah,
to watch in a good way, and that's why I'm
yeah.
scared to watch it.
I feel like it definitely earns those 2 words, like,
Okay. A lot of body horror in that one, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I might respect that from a distance, and maybe I
Mhm.
will tap in when I'm a little less squeamish.
Yeah.
I love horror movies, so but I must tread lightly.
fair.
Do you have any standout horror movies?
I do. A horror movie that I tend to go back to all the time is 28 Days Later, directed by Danny Boyle. I'm a really big
Mm,
fan of zombie fiction in particular. I love Walking Dead. Really liked Zack Snyder's rendition of Dawn of the Dead. Big Resident Evil fan, the video game franchise. Um, but 28 Days Later is a movie that I saw when I was, like, a teenager, I think. I was either a teenager or it was junior high, and it really stood out to me because, like, yeah, Cillian Murphy's in it, but, like, I didn't know who the hell he was, and, at least he wasn't, like, America famous. Maybe he was British famous, I don't know, but he wasn't America famous, and I really enjoyed that that movie was made with, like, $2. It just looked very low budget, and that made it have a lot of appeal to me, and the fact that I didn't recognize any of the actors made it more, like, I could really be in that world. Like, because like, if you see a movie, right, that has, like, a recognizable actor, sometimes that actor gets a little distracting. Like, for me, um, I don't know what this guy is up to now, but back in the day, like, maybe 20 years ago, like, George Clooney was everywhere, right? He was in everything, and I
Yeah.
started to get George Clooney fatigue, where I just felt like, "This isn't a character, this is just George Clooney." Or, like, how Denzel is just great actor, love Denzel, but he
In a
kinda
lot of
suffers
things.
he suffers from, "This is just Denzel being Denzel," you know?
They get
So that
kinda typecast, so it's, like,
yeah,
not fair
but
to them either.
but that's why I like 28 Days Later a lot. It's just a very well shot, kind of like indie type film that I really, really like. Um, and then another really good one is geez, I really like the first Conjuring movie, like a lot. I love The Conjuring. Very good. Sorry, I could yap about horror movies for a while,
No,
but I'm
you're
not going to
good.
do that.
Barbara, this is something you can speak to more because I also respect from afar.
Yeah. I feel like the first Conjuring and the first Saw movie are so
Mm,
good, and then the rest
yes.
of the, like, it just continually just, like, are we beating a dead horse?
Right, right. Did you see The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It?
No.
Oh man, that movie is like it's like a comedy. It's not even like you put that on with some drinks and you're kind of laughing at it. It's not even scary. It's like because there's a Conjuring movie that just came out, and Devil Made Me Do It is the one I think that happened like a year ago, I believe. And I watched it with my husband and two of my friends, and we were just sitting there like, what?
Yeah.
And my husband doesn't like horror movies, so he sat through it and he was just like, "Am I supposed to be scared?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think so, but like this movie kind of sucks."
That's funny.
Mhm.
Marv took me well, I don't know if Marv took me or I took them, but we went to see Weapons, the one with the babies.
Ooh, that is another one that I am respecting from afar because I am a new parent and I'm very scared to watch
Oh,
stuff with like child endangerment right now.
yeah.
Oh,
So I'm just
yeah.
like, I'ma wait.
I was very shocked that the children were like, I don't know, these movies with kids really freak me out. But I was close for like all of the ending part with the climactic fight scene, scary
Mm,
scene. I was just like, I want to see, I want to see what
then you
happens to the
then you
babies.
then you definitely should not watch Evil Dead Rise because that let's just say that children are like you think children are taboo in like targets like you don't touch kids and that sounds weird. You
Mhm.
don't like
I
like
mean, in
attack
general,
yes in general, but you don't like attack children in like media or horror films. This movie said, "Nah, fuck that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I made a mistake. Why did I watch this?" I mean, it's a good movie, but also I was like, "Ah." So yeah, maybe stay away from Evil Dead Rise because I was like, "Oh yeah, surely it'll be a lot tamer than the other Evil Dead movies because those are pretty freaky." They're good but very freaky. And then I watched that one and I was like, oh, I made a mistake." Like Miles Morales, I made a mistake.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
I feel
man,
like
I
for
could talk
me
about. No, you
I
go.
feel like for me, a hard limit is, like, children being possessed. Like
That
like
well, yeah, that's Evil Dead Rise. You can't watch that movie then. Those
like,
kids
I've
get
never seen
yeah.
Poltergeist. I simply cannot.
Oh, okay.
I've never
Mm.
seen, oh gosh, what is it called?
Exorcist, like the
Exorcism,
OG? Yeah.
because I'm just like, I'm gonna, like, be clawing at my skin. It's gonna make me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's a lot, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I could talk about movies. This could be the whole podcast all day. But normally Marv has a beautiful question that kicks us off. So why don't
Oh,
we get to that?
mhm.
Bree, as you know, I'm a social worker, and as I mentioned before, I kind of just professionally interview people, help get them
Mhm.
hooked on this, ask really sensitive questions right off the bat. So I'm gonna hit you with a hard-hitting question.
Okay.
Um, my hard-hitting question of the day is, what is your favorite time of day?
My favorite time of day? Um, before I was pregnant, my favorite time of day was between 4 AM and 6 AM because the world is still asleep. It's very quiet. And there have been times where I've gotten up between those hours, pre being pregnant and having child, where I just like the stillness of it and I can like get up and like sit on the couch and maybe like doodle or get on the computer or like watch something and it just feels very nice. I enjoy that stillness. Now as a parent, my favorite time of day is the evening time because my daughter is asleep.
Real.
Anytime after 7 p.m. is, like, my favorite time now because my daughter goes to sleep at 7. And the daytime, is a little anxiety inducing because, so I have ADHD and anxiety disorder. I used to take medication for those things, but they told me I shouldn't while I was pregnant, and then I just didn't go back on my meds. I really should do that. But, I had a really bad, like, withdrawal experience when I was getting off my medication where I was having, like, night terrors, and in my brain, I, thought like, "Oh god, what if I have to get off them again? I don't wanna go through having night terrors again because that just really sucked, and it happened for a week, just like a straight week of, like, nightmare after nightmare after nightmare, and I did not like it. But all that to say is that, like, the daytime is a time of day for me now where it just feels, like, I feel like I have to be working on things and I have to be doing stuff. It's not as calm as it should be, so my brain feels a lot calmer after the workday is over and after my daughter is asleep. And so, yeah, anytime between 7 p.m. and, like, 11 p.m. because I get really sleepy nowadays at around 10, 11 o'clock. Yeah, that was a very long-winded way to answer that question. Sorry.
No, that
I
was
love
perfect. I think that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing.
yeah.
Marv, do you have a favorite time of day?
When I'm here in New Mexico, I would love the sunset. My favorite time.
Ooh.
Uh, there's something about the clouds here and the way that, like, all of the light plays off of them. It's just, like, so magical every single day. So,
Mm.
I love just, like, standing outside and watching the sunset, which happens at, like, 4 PM nowadays, so
Yep. Yeah.
Well, 'tis the winter time after all.
Yeah.
Is it
yeah.
winter technically yet, or is it still fall? Is fall over?
Has the
I think
winter
there's
solstice passed?
I don't know. Maybe it hasn't happened yet.
It feels like winter, the sun sets at 4 and
Yeah,
the the darkness is falling. Yeah.
and it's cold out.
Yeah,
yeah,
close enough.
yeah. What's my favorite time of day?
I think very similar to your answer, Bree. I really like probably like 1 AM, like witching hours, I guess, very late at night. 'Cause
Mm.
that's usually when my husband goes to bed. He gets very sleepy and he disappears, and I'll stay up late watching TV. And it's very quiet, and I feel like everyone around me in my apartment building has also gone to bed, and it's just like time to watch my tunes late at night. No one can bother me. So I really like that. Like the stillness appeals to me, where it's like I can just rot in silence.
Not the rotting. Listen, sometimes it's good to rot. Like,
Yeah,
I wish I could rot as much as I used to pre having a child, but now, like, my husband and I kinda lament that, like, we can't just, like, rot anymore. Like, 'cause we
Yeah,
have to 'cause baby.
there's
definitely
another human being.
Yes, there's another
gotta.
human, and it's like, I can't just, like, zone out for, like, 5 hours in a corner. I have to take care of this human being that I love very
Yeah,
much. As much as I want
maybe
to rot, I cannot. I must take care of baby that I love.
maybe instead of like the advice to new parents is always like, make sure you schedule a date night with your partner and have a babysitter. Instead of like a date night, schedule a rot night, get a babysitter, and then just rot.
Yeah, rot night, that sounds good. Man, saying rot sounds so negative, but I promise listeners
It's
it is
not.
not a
It's
bad
good.
thing.
It's amazing. Turn your brain off.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, just
delightful.
wanna turn your brain off for a little bit.
The second question for you, Melissa. How often do you fall asleep on a couch?
So it's I had no questions. It's time. Sorry.
Clocked immediately.
I do fall asleep a lot on the couch, but it's because I'm so peaceful. But if I'm watching something really engaging and I love it a lot, I
Like hell
will
of a
fall asleep
boss.
like hell of a boss. I will stay up late. I will be I l that's how I know I love something is, like, I won't even touch my phone. It's like that's the only time I'm like, the phone can't hurt me, you know? I won't I'm not double screening. I'm, like,
Right, right.
fully engaged. That's how the highest praise I can give something, I guess.
What made you, like, jump into Hell of a Boss? I know I'm not supposed to be interviewing you guys, I'm just, like, asking, I'm curious.
I love that you're asking questions. Most of the time, people don't ask us questions, so It's very kind. Thank you. I think it was because I just finished Hazbin Hotel season 2, which was great.
Okay.
And I've watched Hazbin Hotel since it first came out. And I heard that Hell of a Boss was gonna be moving to Amazon and, like, the possible crossovers, and I was like, "Well, I gotta know all the lore." I
Oh,
go
that's interesting that you did it that in that order that you did Has Been first and then Hell of a Boss.
Yeah, I don't know why I did it that way either,
I
actually,
mean, it's
but
not wrong. It's just I know most people I know like kind of did Hell of a Boss first, or like they've been aware of like Vivian's like
uh-huh,
has been like more from like the pilot. And then because Hell of a Boss has like been on YouTube forever, even before Has Been came out, like people were
yeah,
watching that. And then we're watching both in tandem. So to hear that you did Has Been first and then went back is very interesting.
yeah. I'm really glad I watched Hell of a Boss second because I'm very glad I didn't have to wait for these episode drops. I'm very proud of everyone who could do that, who's strong enough, because if I had to wait for those season 2 episodes, I'd be woof. People are stronger than me.
It is very interesting to me to meet like a super fan of it because I enjoy Has Been and Helluva both to a degree, but they're very frustrating to me in a lot of ways, but they're very pretty to look at.
Mhm.
I I I found season 2 to be just a little bit frustrating of the Has Been Hotel because there are certain things that I was like, "Oh, narratively, I'm sure this is gonna happen," and then it didn't, and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
But I'm like, "Okay, I guess they're gonna cook for season 3, maybe, we'll see what happens." Like, I'm willing to wait, obviously. I'm not like weird parasocial people that just, like, dunk on it for no reason. It's more like there's a potential, and it's a little frustrating sometimes to see certain things happen that or certain things not happen. I'm like, "Wow, why do we do that?" You know?
yeah.
And for Hell of a Boss, like, I I find Hell of a Boss to have, like, highs and lows for me, where I I kinda wanna go I wish it would go back to some of the, like, episodic
Procedural.
adventures. Yeah, the
That's how I
proceduralness.
felt too,
Yeah.
watching the second season. I was like, "Kinda wish they'd just go on, like, a little wacky adventure."
Yeah,
Um,
'cause I
which is how I
wasn't
felt for Owl House a lot of the time, where it was
yeah.
like, I missed the wacky like, character exploration episodes, but it went super plot heavy.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
and,
then
like,
it's like,
it's
you're
definitely good to have
appealing to the
those.
fan base, which is like, just do plot." And it's
Right.
like, I guess. I like the wacky adventures.
Right, yeah, and I'm somebody that, like, loves, like I love, like, let's just get to the narrative, get to the narrative, but, like, it is nice to, like, kinda sit with characters sometimes, and for Hell of a Boss, like, I wasn't the biggest fan of it becoming the Blitz and Stola show because I was like, "I'm not really invested in this relationship that much, but whatever. We'll just see what happens."
See, I was so invested, that's why I'm such a stan. I was like, "I'm here for this." I love the yearning, but I'm a yearner, so that's why I'm
You
where I'm at.
listen, I'm a bitch that loves yearning, like, I got yearning in my pilot, like,
I saw it. Saw
I
the yearn.
love yearning so much. Like, man, Interview with the Vampire, like, Lestat yearns for Louis de Pointe du Lac and vice versa, and those bitches are toxic as hell, and I love it. Rawr. But I just went raw XD. Oh my god, I'm 32 years old, I need to chill. But, like, but yeah, like, I don't know, I feel like it wasn't my flavor. But we'll see what else they do with it. I like
Yep.
Fizzaroli and,
Asmodeus.
yeah, as
I didn't
Asmodeus.
realize people liked them so much. I was like, "They're cute," but
I like those guys, they were cute. That little subplot was nice. Anyway, I'm making us tangent about Has Been Helluva, I'm sorry.
yeah, sorry, Marv. Spoilers, spoilers.
Yeah.
I might make you watch it, but I probably won't. I won't make you do that.
It's like, I won't, but I might, but I will, and that's a threat and a promise.
Well,
I do love for you that we've brought out the raw XD in you. That's personally always my goal. Like, let's get back to the part that made you.
let's get to
As
our
well.
core, our, like,
Yeah.
middle school selves, let's bring that out.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's focus, Melissa. Let's get to part 2 of the podcast, which is Bree, you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Did you always wanna become a storyboarder? Did you always wanna be a showrunner? Or when you were younger, did you have a different goal in mind?
I know it's like corny to say this, but Disney was a really big inspiration for me as a kid. Like I guess by like definition, I am a Disney adult, but not in like the weird like shoving children out of the way to see the face characters kind of way. In a like, if you put on Hunchback of Notre Dame right now, I will be that annoying person and can like say every line. Like that kind of Disney adult, not the like beating up children at the theme park
Yeah, the
Disney
cooler Disney
adult.
adults, the
Yeah,
ones that have
yeah.
the lore.
The one that's normal. Yeah, a normal person. Um,
Yeah.
and growing up, like Disney VHS tapes were just a staple in my home. And I tell the story a lot when people ask me this question that like I Bambi was a favorite. And at the end of the VHS tape for Bambi, Mr. Walter Elias Disney would come on with his old face and talk about the multiplane camera and just about how his team, created, how they built it, and, they painted on the glass for that opening sequence of a friend owl, like, flying through the forest, and, like, how they, had the multiple panels of glass and, like, painted it and moved it, and just the entire process too of, like, bringing in the animals, sketching them, trying to be a little more realistic than Snow White because that was the last time that they had done, like, animal type characters, but they wanted to be a bit more like, grounded with everything. And my baby brain was like, I don't know what the hell that is, but I want to do that. I like that. And then also there was a show on Toonami. You've probably never heard of it called Sailor Moon. Just kidding. Everybody knows what that is. And I saw this 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 girl who I was like, "Oh, who's this white girl with blonde hair?" That I found out later, obviously, is not a white girl. It was a cool Japanese kid, um, with blonde hair and buns in her head, and she's got a cool outfit fighting with her friends. And I was like, "This looks different than anything I've ever seen in my life. What's happening? What's that? I want that." So Disney and anime kind of collided in my baby brain, and I was like, I need these things. And I was just always drawing all the time. Like I would get in trouble for like drawing on the walls at home. Kind of fast forward to my junior high days where I was absorbing more and more anime like Inuyasha, Fruits Basket, the 2001 version, like reading the manga in like 6th grade. Like Fruits Basket was the first manga I ever read. Although, well, it was the first, like, not tankobon, it was, like, the first, like, book of manga that I had ever purchased from Borders. But I guess if you wanna go back, the first manga that I really, really read, I probably shouldn't have been reading so young, but, like, I saw it at their store, was, Oh My Goddess. I read that one. It was about, like, a college dude who, like, I guess was, like, on a dating app, or he thought it was a dating app, and then he ends up summoning, like, a goddess named Belle Dandy who, like, grants his wish, and he makes, like, a silly wish because he's like, "Oh, this isn't real." "Well, if you're really a goddess, and, like, I want you to stay here with me forever," and then she does, and he's like, "What?" So, yeah,
Oh,
it's a silly thing. Probably shouldn't have been reading that when I was, like, 12, but, it 'cause it's a little older. But anyway, yeah, like around junior high, I was just reading and watching more and more anime, and I thought to myself, like, I want to become a mangaka and move to Japan and make my own anime. And I was making my own like anime OCs that were basically just me copying Inuyasha and Full Metal Alchemist because I also love Full Metal at the time. And I don't know, I thought I was cooking. I was like 14. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. Like, oh, this is my idea. It's so cool. It's so good. And then again, fast forward to high school where I gotta figure out, like, career college stuff. In high school, I'm very much involved in the live action, like, TV production club at my high school. So, like, editing and, like, working live productions, like, how, like, in a, like, live action sports thing where somebody in your headset is like, "Ready, 1, take 1," and, like, "Camera 3, do this and that." Those are things that I knew how to do, and I knew how to work like a studio like professional studio cameras, and I was very much going to go into live action in high school or into college from, like, doing that in high school for 4 years. I still drew, I still made little comics, but I was like, "Yeah, I can be an editor or work at, like, a TV station or something." Because again, I was making AMVs on Movie Maker and then learning Avid and Final Cut Pro and making my Sasuke versus Naruto AMVs to Linkin Park. as we all did back then, you know.
I was gonna ask, was it Lincoln Park? Um,
Breaking the habit, in the end, we gotta do that. Naruto versus Neji fight. Like, come on,
yeah.
Oh my
we
god.
were all doing it. And were they good? No, but I did my best.
That they were amazing.
Somebody thought they were good, I guess. I mean, I thought
If
they
you
were
wanna
good.
drop those, you wanna drop the link to those?
They
You're
are not
feeding
on
the
the inter
fandom.
they are not on the internet anymore. I'm so sorry. My old YouTube account, Ariyuki Coolness, does not exist anymore. I probably should not have said it because now people are gonna be like,
We'll
"Wait a
bleep
minute,
it. We can
what?"
bleep it.
We can go to the Wade Akron machine.
Oh
Oh
god.
my gosh.
My old YouTube account was named after a guy in the first BL manga that I ever read named Ariyuki, who I had a crush on. I was like, "Man, I really like this guy. Do I wanna kiss him or do I wanna be him?" Just planting
Mm,
the seed of my queer identity.
that's
Um,
really what it is.
yeah. It was the same way with Sailor Uranus. I was like, "Damn, I really like them, but do I wanna be them or, like,
His beat?
kiss? I
Uh,
I don't know yet." You know? But back to the origin stuff, like, so in high school, I was thinking about TV production, but then, like, animation just kinda kept calling to me because I was drawing, making OCs, just continuing to draw, and then heard about a college called SCAD, and I was thinking about going there, but it was too expensive. And then I found out there was a college called Columbia just in my home state of Illinois, just downtown in Chicago. I lived in the suburbs, and I could just, commute to school, and they had a really good they had an alright animation program. Um, their TV production program and film production program was way better, though, and I was looking at both, and I was like, "Maybe I can do film and then minor animation?" I don't know, but then I was just like, "You know what? No, I'm gonna focus on animation." And it gave my mom a mild heart attack because she was like, "Can you, like, get a job doing that? Like, can you money?" And I'm like, "No, no, 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 it's fine, I think. Maybe. I don't know." And, in college, was part of the animation program there from 2011 to 2015. Graduated with a bachelor's degree in cinema arts and science, which is just a fancy way to say film degree, but with a concentration in animation.
mm,
And yeah, like from there, I got really, really serious about like, oh, I don't want to be an animator. I want to be a storyboard artist because in our senior year, we had like a big thesis project where we all worked together. It was kind of like capstone film, basically. And I did like the individual thesis project where I made like a trailer for this idea I had called Between Thieves about these two thieves named Oscar and James who are like trying to steal a jewel, but then like they both realize that they're going after it at the same time and then like they save each other from certain death and like forget the jewel and then become buddies and become partners.
Did they
It's
kiss?
an it is a concept I want to expand upon, and yes, they are super gay for each other. I just
yeah. As
haven't
you
expanded on it,
and they were
unfortunately.
roommates sort of way,
And
or
and they were roommates. Oh my god, they were roommates. Um, but then, like, our big group project was called Facebeard, which was about a ghost that needed to find his booty. But no, it was, like, his literal butt because it got chopped off. It was just, like, a silly, silly thing, and
I
that's
love
still
that.
on Vimeo, I believe, if people ever wanna go watch The Legend of Facebeard by myself and my college classmates, it's still on Vimeo. But because of those 2 projects, like, that's when I really fell in love with storyboarding because I just thought that, like, oh, being an animator full on is kinda difficult. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like to animate really, although, like, you can, like, push boards with a little more poses, but, like, animating, I realized kinda took a lot out of me, and I even tried CG for a little bit too, and I was like, Imma let somebody else do this. Mad respect to this part of the pipeline, but it's not for me. And I just really fell in love with, like, boarding because it sort of encompassed storytelling and illustration and, like, still being a really big part of the process with, like, helping guide the story along. And when I graduated in 2015, like I didn't go into like a professional job right away. I worked in well, I didn't go into professional animation job right away. I ended up working at a advertising agency in Chicago for about a year, and I did like some like commercial storyboards for them, and then I ended up after about a year of that, my grandmother passed away in 2016, and she she didn't want me to know, and it really hit me. She just wanted me to focus on school, and I miss her every day. But when she passed at the top of 2016, that kind of was like, in a way, a thing that kind of told me I needed to just go pursue animation. I needed to leave because I was gonna like not do animation again. Like I was going to stay in Illinois. I wanted to help take care of my grandmother. I even stopped myself from getting an apartment and moving out from living with my mom and my younger sister because when she told me she was sick, I was like, okay, well, nothing else matters right now. I'm going to focus on helping my granny. But then she passed, and I was like, okay, well, what am I doing now? And then I had a phone call from a friend who had moved to LA. He was a college classmate. And he called me and he said, like, hey, Bree, like, when are you going to move out here? Like, I just wondering what you've been up to. And the fact that I didn't have an answer bothered me. And it just sort of sat with me for a very long time that I was like, yeah, I did go to school for this. And like, I really like drawing. And he asked me, like, what am I going to do? And I was just like, I don't know. I didn't like that I didn't know what I wanted to do. So myself and 3 other friends at the tail end of 2016 got together, moved out here to LA, and, I just hustled really hard to try to make connections with people, network. I worked in advertising for about a year and a half still to just, pay my bills, pay rent. And then I eventually landed a production assistant job at my first animation studio that I worked at called Wild Canary on Mirror Royal Detective, Disney Junior preschool show. And kind of the rest is history from there, at least from how I broke into the industry. Sorry, that was super long, but that's kind of what happened. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That's an awesome story. I mean, lots of emotional twists and turns, but still thank you
Mhm.
for being vulnerable.
I'm a very sensitive person, so yeah.
I have to start with the beginning. Um, Bambi, OMG, same. I love Bambi.
Mm.
I also, I think, had the same VHS where Walt would come out and be like, "This is how you make a movie," and was like, "Stars in my eyes. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened in the world."
Mhm.
So I love that that's part of your origin story too. We both just loved that little guy running around.
The multiplane camera is sick, and I feel very lucky, working at Disney. I mean, it is a big corporate overlord, which is not great. But, I really like the fact that I can go into the Frank G. Wells building whenever I want and be like, "Hey, it's a multiplane camera." Well, it's a replica of it, but it's really cool to see, like, this is what it looks like fully, like, the full size thing, and I'm like, "Ooh."
Yeah, I mean, I know Disney isn't what we dreamed as children now, but how does it
Yeah.
feel to, like, kinda have achieved what tiny Bree had wanted?
It feels weird, I suppose, because like I've said this before to other people that Disney was never the goal. The goal was actually Warner Brothers or Titmouse for me when I was very active about wanting to work in animation because Disney at the time was not producing anything that I cared about,
Mm.
movie wise or even like TV show wise. I have colleagues that work on this show and I apologize, but I think was really ugly. I can respect that it is written very well, but I just thought it was very ugly when I was younger. I still think it's a little funny looking, but I know that's the charm, I suppose. And I just was not really fucking with it when I was younger. A lot of Cartoon Network, I was just like, "I don't know what this is." It's all, like, live action or a bunch of cartoons like Camp Lazlo and Almost Naked Animals and a bunch of shit that I was like, I don't know what this is. What's happening?" And then Disney Channel, like, and Nickelodeon had a bunch of, like, live action, like, "I'm a teen and I wanna be a pop star," and I'm like, "I don't know what any of this is anymore." Like, I was like a curmudgeon, like, about all of it, and I gravitated to anime so hard, and, like, because of that, like, stuff that Titmouse or WB was producing because I really like superheroes, like, I love the DCAU so much, like, I'm a big Justice League fan. I really wanted to try to, if I could, work on a superhero project at some point, if at all possible. Or for Titmouse, like, they had Motor City, like, Motor City was so good. Like, Titmouse was always pushing the envelope and still does, in my opinion, today. Like, they always have just, like, weird stuff that they're making or or that they're contracted to make, a lot of, like, weird and different stuff, and I just really liked that. But, like, as a whole, like, working animation, I feel was Baby Bree's dream, and it just feels very weird and I guess very, very interesting that I have sort of done it and am still doing it. Like, I said, I wanted to be a drawer, and I am drawing.
Yeah.
And and, like, the fact that I do work for Disney too, and have worked on a lot of, like, most of my career has been nothing but Disney productions. I've only worked on one non-Disney thing, and that was Jessica's Big Little World for Cartoon Network for about 2 weeks. I worked on 2 episodes of that show as a revisionist, and being part of, like, the Disney legacy is very interesting, I guess, like, it's like a mix of complicated emotions because, like, I'm older now and, like, 32 is not that old, but, like, being, like, an adult, being aware of, like, capitalism and corporate greed and whatnot, it puts a little bit of a stank on it for me, obviously, and also being a queer person and how, like, this company kinda handles that stuff,
Yeah.
um, as we saw in, like, the 2021 and, like, Ron DeSantis and all that shit, right?
Yep.
And, like, it's like a mixed bag of emotions of, like, wow, I really love that I'm part of the legacy of, like, the creation of pieces of media that really impacted me growing up, but I'm happy to be able to, you know, do the artwork for I'm happy to be able to, like, fulfill my passion of being an artist as a career, but there's still, like, just a weird feeling about, like, I think it's a matter of just, like, I don't drink the corporate Kool-Aid, like, I'm to, like, separate myself, you know?
It's very
Again,
important.
long-winded way to talk about it.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to look at it. It's always good not to drink the corporate Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
but it's nice to know that, like, especially the shows you've worked on have been a lot of, like, preschool,
Mhm.
and it's nice to know that, like, the kids watching it are young and, like, they're liking it. They're having a good time, and you got to make them smile, and it's
Yeah.
important.
That it definitely means a lot to be able to do that, to bring that joy to the little ones for sure. Mirror Royal Detective in particular, I have a very soft spot for, and I really wish that that show got more than just 2 seasons. I really think
Yeah.
that show deserved way more than it got, but it just kind of got impacted, if I'm not mistaken, by, like, the fact that the pandemic happened, and it was just, like, a perfect
Yeah.
storm of, like, stuff impacting it to the point where, like, they were like, "Nah, we're cutting it." Because, like, I remember when I was a PA on it, there was a very conscious effort to try to port do South Asian representation justice as much as they could, and when you think about it, like, the only, like, South Asian Disney rep is just Mowgli. There's, like, not really anything else, at least in the feature space, or I guess in the TV space, you have Baljeet, but that's also still kind of not the best.
It's slim pickings.
Yeah, it's very slim picking. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. Um, but and I do not want to speak for South Asian people, like, no misunderstandings there. But just from my time on it, the focus testing that the show did and, like, the letters that the showrunner would read from, like, South Asian families that were part of, like, the testing groups to, like, look at it and watch it with their children, like, a lot of them I remember, like, seeing letters of people being like, "Oh, we were so relieved. We thought that you were gonna do, like, weird accents and, like, be very kinda racist about it," but everybody was, like, very happy, and it just really seemed it was a very fun show. It was very stressful, but, what show isn't?
Yeah.
But it was just very sweet, and I feel like I've been pretty lucky that I've been on 3 shows that are very representative of something that is very important to me, which is diversity in media. Jessica, Mira, and then The Proud Family, because before I broke into animation, I founded the organization Black and Animated with my, creative partner and one of my best friends, Wayman Singleton, in order to promote diversity and just, like, promotion of more Black folks seeking jobs in animation, and it just really has been a blessing to be able to be part of even just a little piece of that with those 3 shows, and I hope I continue to make more stuff that is, very important for that. I mean, that's partially why I made, like, my indie project as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
I ramble so much, I'm sorry, y'all.
That's kind of the effect we have. People come on this podcast and they yap. It's not just you. Pivoting then, I'd love to talk about kind of your personal projects. You mentioned Black and Animated. I know you're not an active part of it anymore, but
Mhm.
what was it like founding it and working in it for how many years were you a part of it?
Oh, I think it's been about either 5.5 or 6 years that that
Mhm.
was part of my life. Working on like, being in charge of B&A with Waymond was honestly a highlight of the past decade I've lived here in LA. Like, it's a really weird thing to say that I've lived here for almost 10 years now. Jesus Christ. Ah, um
Happy 10 almost 10-year anniversary.
Crazy. That's so crazy. It's too expensive here. Don't hey, listeners, don't move here. Not don't move here unless, like, you have things, like, set or you have roommates. It's too expensive, please. I'm just get roommates if you gotta move here for work. Please get roommates, it's too expensive. But
Yeah. Or, like, everyone move out or something so that there's less traffic. I don't know.
or maybe "Hey, BlackRock, stop taking up all of the houses. Maybe stop doing that." Sorry, not to get political.
I mean, I'd like to buy a house someday. I
Yeah.
say, putting on cloud
Literally,
makeup.
literally. The rent is too damn high, damn it. But anyway, yes, yes. B&A was just a really big part of my life for almost the past decade, and working on it with Waymond was such a joy to be able to just help people because I helping people is something that's very important to me, and I really like doing it. I sometimes go out of my way maybe more than I should to help people in the sense that, like, I overexert to the point where, like, I forget about myself in a way, not like like, I shouldn't be helping people, but, like, I sometimes I don't take care of myself as much as I should because I'm just so concerned about everybody else. But like which is something I'm working on. I'm working on not giving too much of myself, you know? But to be able to bring knowledge and inspire other, like, young Black people that are interested in animation and the arts is so rewarding because when Wayman and I started in this, like, he was in New York, I was in Chicago, and we both talked about how we had fears going into animation because, like, we just didn't know if there were other Black people that were, like, thriving and, like, were in this industry, like, that were, like, new veterans, like, we knew about Bruce, who ended up becoming a boss, which is, like, really funny,
Yeah,
through Proud Family, and then we knew about Floyd Norman, who I've met several times. He's a very, very chill guy,
it's very
um,
sweet.
very, very sweet guy, just always walking around here, you'll bump into that guy
Yeah,
anywhere.
I bumped into him at Lightbox once, and he was actually just sitting next to me during a panel, and I turned and I was like, "Whoa, is this
You're like,
Floyd
"Oh."
Norman?
Like, "Oh, hey."
A legend?" And he was very nice.
Mhm. Very, very chill dude. Like, you would not think that he's, like, pushing, what, 80
Yeah.
mid-80s. He's up there.
For listeners who don't know, he's a very experienced, like, veteran animator who one of the first or only Black animators who worked at Disney when it first
One of the
started.
first. He wasn't the only, but he was the one.
Yeah, one
He
of
was
the
the first
first.
one that got hired, and he is one of the last people alive that worked with Walt Disney directly.
There's,
Wow.
like, a documentary about him.
Hmm. Everybody go check out Floyd Norman in Animated Life. Very good documentary about
Very
like
good.
about his life and then how ageism kind of like
Mhm.
impacted him getting shoved out of the Walt Disney Company, but then he still like free roam to just come in and out whenever he wants. I don't know.
Yeah, it's, like,
You
a
know?
weird thing because they, like, pushed him out and then they're like, "Here's a medal because we're so grateful for all your work." And it's like, "Okay."
Mhm. Yeah. It's very interesting. But yeah, like as far but like it just really means a lot to just be able to ease the anxieties of people of like young Black folks who were like us who were nervous about this sort of thing. I I literally just the other day got a message from somebody who was a fan of our old podcast, the Black and Animated podcast, because it was a podcast just before it even was an organization. It became an organization only because of in 2020 things started to like escalate a bit. We had a meeting with Disney for the first time and like we held a mixer with them in addition to holding a sorry, let me back up. I'm getting my wires crossed a little bit. In 2019, there was a gathering of a bunch of Black artists at a now closed down bar called Gordon Biersch in Burbank. That place is closed down, unfortunately, which is really sad. It's a very nice place. But it was just like a word of mouth, like get all the Black people together. And it was run by my friend Lorraine Great and Nyla Magruder. But Wayman and I were doing the podcast at the time. And we kinda, like, in a weird way, like, sort of collabed a little bit on that meeting, and then Disney in 2019 hit myself up and Waymond because of BNA, but also Nyla and Lorraine for, like, a group meeting because they saw that, like, gathering of all those Black artists had happened, and they wanted to have a sort of, like, mixer event, and they were curious about BNA as a whole, and then myself and Waymond and Nyla and Lorraine just kind of, like, combined our efforts to make the organization like a full thing, full on, as well as with our friend Neil Wade. He was a current series executive at Nickelodeon. He no longer is there, unfortunately, due to like, the whole merger business. But he was a really great, really great guy. I mean, he still is great. He's just not at Nickelodeon anymore, unfortunately. And that was like the first thing that sort of solidified BNA as an organization. And then 2020 comes along, you know, lockdown happens, we make a Discord, build this sort of community thanks to uh Animation Guild member Lauren Andrews. She like helped put the Discord together, the original one. And it was just a nice spot for all these Black artists to come together, find community, learn more about animation, and then the unfortunate murder of George Floyd happened, and that really pushed the organization into the forefront of the animation industry almost a little too fast for Waymond and I, to the point where we had studios coming to us asking us, like, how do we do better? Like, we became the voice, and it was a little overwhelming because, like, it's like, we have been Black people have been telling you that there have been issues, but only you only care now, and it's I always say this that, like, I'm not trying to sound, like, ungrateful for the help, like, I'm very grateful for the help the studios have given us and, like, those that reached out. It's just it's just, like, one of those things of, like, I wish it didn't happen because somebody was murdered, you know? And but because everything was escalating so quickly, like, BNA was getting recognized so quickly, it was like burning the candle at both ends for myself and Waymond, and that's partially what led to he and I leaving. I stayed on a bit longer, and then I found someone else to, like, help me out with it, and then I exited the org in order to, like, focus on I was, focused on baby, career, and also, like, there were some organizational things that were happening within the org that I was not a fan of, and I just politely left. I decided to leave, and the org is now in the hands of the folks who are in charge of it now. And I wish them the best, and like I hope that BNA continues to be a light for Black artists seeking community and whatnot. But yeah, like it just at the end of the day, though, like the fact that I've had people still come to me and tell me how it hit them so hard that BNA was hit them so hard that it impacted them so much, and how grateful they were because they were like, "Oh, I found out about jobs because of you." Like, there was a young man at Lightbox who messaged me, or not messaged me, he, like, found me at Lightbox and expressed his gratitude about how he found out about internships and whatnot through BNA. Or there was someone else who, found out about color design. They didn't know it was a job. There are some people who, like, made friends, there was a writing group that started, like, it's about community building and giving that information and access to those who just want to learn more about what they can do. And also just showing too that, like, you don't need to always be an artist to work in animation. Like, there are people that, like, "Man, I love cartoons and I really wanna work in it, but I don't draw," us talking about production, like, really helped too. All that to say is just that, like, B&A was really great. I really loved doing it for so long, but my priorities, especially when I became pregnant, sort of shifted, and I had to step back. And I do miss it, but I don't necessarily have the time for advocacy work on that scale anymore. And part of, like, the little bit of advocacy that I still find myself doing is just I still try to share jobs, around with folks that I know to, like, help them out, or I still make myself available if people wanna, like, email me or ask me questions. It might take me a minute to get back to you, but I will try my best to, like, have a meeting with you and, like, talk to you about the animation industry, or even with, like, the pilot that I made, the fact that that is, a YA fantasy, but with a black lead. Like, you don't see that really. And if you do, they cut it. They don't let it thrive. And that's partially why I made my indie show, and, like, why I want to keep going with it, because it's so important to me, because it encompasses all of the things that matter to me, and the representation that I wanted to see growing up.
Yeah, I listened to your podcast today, so that's actually a really great resource if people wanna hear, like, the full backstory. Your most recent episode on keeping you animated was a really great episode, and I learned a lot about 3 tomes, but I wanted to listen. I wanna ask my own questions.
Mhm.
So, you mentioned in that episode how you were trying to just like you mentioned a little bit earlier in this episode, like, create a show that's Black people led and kind of bring Black magical girls to the forefront.
Mhm.
What other inspirations did you have making it, aside from just creating, like, a more Black-led show? Was it just the, like, need to create the show that's set in 2011, like a period
Mhm.
piece?
Well, it was basically just, like, a desire to have, like, YA bullshit that was Black led, because I just never saw that when I was younger. Like, I loved Twilight, the non-racist parts of it anyway. And listen, I said this on my pod, and I said this on, like, another pod that interviewed me about this. Twilight's good, but it's also garbage, but I like the garbage, but it's got problems. And Stephanie, why'd you make Jasper a Confederate soldier? Why is the Native American boy being called a dog and, like, saying he smells bad? It's got, like, really weird connotations when all these, like, white people vampires are, like, saying that the brown people stank. Like, it's kinda weird. It's kinda weird energy, my guy.
Yeah.
Or why are we making Jacob, like, very, like, aggro and, like, I don't know, like, animalistic? Like, again, that's also kinda weird. Like, Stephanie, I what do you what
And
why'd you
while we're
do
calling
that?
out white authors, in Vampire Diaries, why did you make Damien a Confederate soldier too? I don't know. Those people were
Yeah!
Also in
Okay.
come up
Vampire
with that.
Diaries?
Yeah, in Vampire
Yeah. Like,
Diaries,
why are we doing this?
the hot bad boy one is a Confederate soldier, which I didn't know until I watched Princess Weeks's video essay about it on YouTube, talking about Confederate vampires and this sort of, like, uh, uh, uh,
Like a
uh,
trope.
like, it's a trope in vampire media for, like, these really popular ones, and this sort of, like, nostalgic longing for like the Dixie era. Because
Mhm.
she also discussed, Louis de Pointe du Lac and
Yeah.
like because he was a good slave owner. I'm making air quotes when I say this for
A
listeners.
lot of air quotes.
I'm making air quotes in the book anyway. AMC did a very good job making him a Creole, light skinned black man who is queer and who, they did a really good job switching that up. Thank you, AMC. um,
And she
but
says,
yeah, but like yeah, so I had never watched Vampire Diaries, but like my producer actually on the Three Tomes kept telling me that like, yeah, Darius and Yogaya kind of remind me of Stefan and Damon.
Difference.
And I'm just like, I don't know what? Who? And like I had seen Vampire Diaries around, like I'd seen it, but I was like a Twilight girly, and I was just like, no, I don't want that. I think they're copying, even though actually it is not that. I think it's the other way around. But anyway, yeah, like I just again like Twilight, Buffy, just like YA romance stuff, like even like Fruits Basket, Inuyasha, like Inuyasha's like struggling with Kagome and Kikyo. Do I want future version of my dead girlfriend who hates me? That like what am I doing with my life? Just all of that stuff. It was really fun and I loved it and it was cheesy, a lot of romantic yearning, but like I just did not see myself in it. And at the time, I didn't really think about it. I wasn't super thinking about like how I didn't see myself in Sailor Moon or Cardcaptor Sakura, which are other inspirations for the pilot. Cardcaptor Sakura very heavily in particular. If for anybody who's seen it, like you can probably really tell. But as I got older and became like a little more aware of stuff, like more like racially aware of like myself, because like I grew up in like a predominantly like white area, and like as like a person of color in like a mostly like white school or like white neighborhood, as you get older and become like more aware of things, you start to notice you're like, oh, I'm being looked at a little differently, okay. And it's like stuff you got to like unpack and like learn. But like as I was becoming more aware of like myself and aware of the media I was consuming and the things that I liked, again, like I noticed that I didn't see people that looked like me. And I would do drawings of like characters of like OCs that I had, but they were always like white or just like not really, they weren't black people. And again, this is something that I've noticed that like, for black artists that grow up in like predominantly white areas, like sometimes we have to like unlearn that and again unpack that. And I started creating like my own characters again, but like this time characters of color, characters that look like me, characters that fulfilled what I wanted, and like, black kids going on adventures and doing like really cool things, doing their, I don't know, their Hunger Games dystopia stuff, right? But now that I'm older, like an adult, and I have like the ability to like make stuff more fully realized, I decided to just go ahead and like make the thing that I wish I had seen. Especially because like I saw shows like Gentry Chow and I saw
Mhm.
shows like Invincible Fight Girl. And those
yeah.
last year really encompassed the sort of like YA, girl of color in like a cool like YA space that I really, really liked. And I wish that they both had more time to cook and kept going because Gentry needed it and Invincible Fight
Invincible
Girl
Fight Girl needed it
really
too.
needed because like they barely got started with that one. And it just yeah, like the Three Tomes encompasses like just what I wished I had seen growing up. And I being a 32-year-old millennial, I really enjoyed like the sort of like coming of age sort of like vibes of things. And like again, like you didn't really see black characters in like cool coming of age suburban type things because like I grew up in the burbs. There were again no faces that look like me in those movies. um
Mhm.
so that's partially where like the setting comes from. Like the setting of the Three Tomes is during like the year 2011, like 2010 2011, because that was like the tail end of like my adolescence going from high school to college, and my main character is dealing with that. The town that they're in is based off of the town that I uh spent my high school days in. And it like the vampire romance of it all, the magical girlness because, like, I love magical girls. I love
It is a
magical girl anime. I just wanted to put all these things into this beautiful kind of little, like, show idea and hope that it resonated with, like, all of the romantasy vampire girlies that loved anime and stuff, and that want to see themselves in that. And also tell a story about being okay with, like, change in your life, going from, like, your teens to adulthood, but also dealing with grief and how people coming and going in your life is okay. And some of those things, obviously, we couldn't fully touch on in the pilot because it's just a pilot,
yeah.
but there's
That's
a
what the
lot of
wacky adventure episodes are
yeah,
for.
that's what those are for, and that's what a lot of, I put a lot of, like, some of the stuff that I dealt with at that age or even, like, around college time with. Like, in the pilot, my main character, Tammy, recently had a loss, like, her grandfather died prior to the events of the pilot, and that was kind of, like, hinted at a little bit. It wasn't explicitly stated, but that's sort of, like, her going through that grief is representative of, like, my journey with dealing with grief, you know? Yeah, that that's kind of why I made it, just wanting to make the thing that I wanted to see.
Yeah. And I love that you keep calling it a YA animation. I'm a big advocate that we need a YA animation thing,
We
and
definitely do.
I love that you've la labeled it almost that way because I don't wanna say labeling because people sometimes take it that the wrong way, but I think there's always, like, these really hard boxes for animation where it's like you're either junior, like baby
Right.
babies, kids, or adult. But, like,
Mhm.
there's this, like, weird gray area that's really needed where it's like, there's teens who wanna watch cartoons too,
Right.
that it's not just for kids and it can't be too adult. It's YA.
Right,
And
yeah, and
it's needed.
I think that's why, like, I pointed to this when someone else asked me about this, that, like, there was that article, like, a couple years back that talked about it came out of, like, a WB meeting about how, like, saying that girls don't watch cartoons, which is in fact not true at all. As a AFAB person, I wasn't watching, like, Camp Lazlo, I was watching anime because it was a little more advanced and, like, there was, like, different types of stories being told over there,
Yeah,
like, I wasn't watching Cartoon Network around '07, '08 or Disney Channel '07, '08. I had moved over to anime because it gave me something more, it offered me something more, and like you said, like, we don't do that over here in the West, like, specifically, like, American cartoons, like, we don't
yeah,
do that. And I think that's what was so beautiful about Gentry and Invincible Fight Girl for me last year. Like, those 2 shows coming out last year, especially because like, production of my pilot began last year. I come up with this idea back in, like, 2017, 2018. So these characters have been with me for a hot minute, but they weren't they weren't like what they were now. They were a tomboy girl and a nameless black girl who had glasses, and they accidentally, like, summoned a little vampire boy named Greg while they were in a graveyard because the little girls and they were all, like, 12 or 13 or
really.
and the little black girl, like, her grandma had died, and she wanted to communicate with her with the Ouija board, but then they accidentally but then instead of talking to her grandma, they talked to the vampire named Greg, who's just this little boy who's like he was just a Murdoch Nichols clone. That's all he was. It was nothing more. I didn't really wanna do anything else with them, they were just doodles, and I was just drawing.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then, like, over time between this period of, like, 2017, 18 when I started drawing these characters to 2021, they started to, like I started to, like, bump them up more, and they started to have Scooby-Doo vibes, and then it got more, like, spooky and magic, and, like, there's romance. Vampire boy Greg became a vampire prince who had a Detective Conan thing going on where he was, like, cursed to look like a little boy, and he had a crush on, like, one of the girls, and they wouldn't take him seriously because they're like, "You're just a little baby," and he's like, "No, I'm not." Um,
I'm a prince.
And then I started to think about the importance of like seeing black love in fantasy spaces because I just again didn't really see it. It just like black people and people of color in general, like in fantasy spaces, whether it's like YA melodrama, like fantasy bullshit, or even like, like Lord of the Rings vibes, like we just don't exist in those spaces. And like every time somebody puts us there, racists get mad about it. Like you remember in like when Rings of Power came out, people were like, "I don't think that the dwarfs could be black." Like, duh, 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 duh.
Full of
And it's
color
like,
can
who
exist in Lord of the Rings. It's
who
crazy.
gives a shit? Or like, "Oh, I don't think a mermaid can be black." It's like, shut up, stop talking. What are you
Stupid.
doing? You just yapping. It's a lot of mouth breathing. Like, be quiet. Go
Yeah, and it's
outside.
also like, if there's a person who's in a romance and they're a person of color or black or whatever, they're always paired with the white person, and it's like,
Hmm.
"Okay, interesting. So we can
Yeah,
be loved, but only if the other person's white." Which I just, like, I don't know. It's a
exactly.
different kinda
And
issue.
exactly. And as somebody who is married to a white man, even the like, interracial couples are fine.
Yeah,
However,
it
like
happens every
like
time.
yeah, if it happens all the time, and like I said, like, the importance of, like, black love being in, like, this type of genre that we don't see, that's when Vampire Boy Prince became 2 boys, and then that's how you got Darius and Yogaya. Again, they didn't have names, it was just hot white vampire
Hot
boy and
hot
hot
boys.
black boy vampire, just hot boys. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I like love triangles, right, let me do that." But then I gave also hot vampire boy, black boy, older brother, who's just, what if I took Virgil from Devil May Cry and Prince and mashed them together, and that's how you got Alonzo. So, uh, to have, like, romantic yearning with these 3 characters in, like, a love triangle with, like, a black femme person at the center, it was just like, fun, like, drawing these little guys, and then, like, I started to just think more and more about, like, the stories that I enjoy, like, the yearning in Fruits Basket, the magical elements of Cardcaptor Sakura, and, like, the kinda collecting aspect of that, and also just, like, Magical Girls, period, and how, like, not every magical girl needs to transform, even though transformation sequences are amazing. I kind of was like, "You know what? Maybe" like, Sakura didn't really like, she had different outfits, but she wasn't, like, doing too much crazy stuff, or even, like, Magic Knight, Rayarth, like, they didn't really do all that, but it was all just, like, a lot of those elements that I really enjoyed, or, like, Fushigi Yugi, like, the pining and that, I'm just dropping a lot of, like, influences for this pilot and for this story.
It's
It was
great.
it's just a lot of the anime, like, 90s and 2000s anime and TV shows that I really enjoyed, like, all that romance stuff, and I just really wanted to make something, and I love vampires, like, I love vampires a lot, like, yeah, it's kind of a problem. I love vampire media so much, so I was like, "Let me make a vampire story. That'd be fun,
As
be
you
fun."
should.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. An important question that I wanted to ask at the top of this, but I was curious, what's been keeping you animated?
Oh, you got me. Ah, haha, clever. For folks that don't know, Keeping You Animated is the current podcast that myself and Waymond do, and, yeah, we talk about what's been keeping us animated, and the thing that's been keeping me animated, besides my indie show, is the fuck is man. I guess as of today, I've been a little obsessed. It sounds so stupid. No, nothing is stupid. We like the things that we like. I've been very
Yes.
obsessed with the dynamic of Lucifer and Alistair and Has Been Hotel.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell into the mic. Yeah. Yes, aligned.
I
Agreed.
I'm very interested in the character of Lucifer in Has Been Hotel. He is the most interesting to me because
The dad?
he's dead, and I keep seeing fan art of the two of them, and I'm just like, you know what? I think I like that. But also too, the character of Lucifer is voiced by an actor that I
Jeremy
really enjoyed
Jordan, who
by
I
Jeremy
love.
Jordan. Yep, very very good voice, very good Broadway guy. But the
Another one of my
character,
hyperfixations was Newsies and Jeremy Jordan. Yep. Yep.
and
God,
also
this is Fansy's Tumblr page.
Stop.
oh,
This is
but
the
also
episode
like
where I talk about all the things that are embarrassing about my past.
he was also in Death Note the musical. Have you seen that?
No,
Have you listened to the Death Note musical?
no, not
Yeah,
yet.
he's light Yagami. I
I
mean,
thought
I don't
I
know if
caught everything.
have you seen Death Note? Marv, you're looking like what?
Yeah. Like, this is one of those things where, like, I heard about a stage play, I heard about, like, a musical, and I was just like, "No." And
Yeah,
when they
like
did the
Jeremy
live
Jordan
action
was in
film,
it,
I
and
was
you
like,
didn't tell
"No,
me, Marv.
yeah,
girl, I didn't
yeah.
know. I didn't look into it. I just, like, heard it, and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah,
How did
he's
they even get the blue red people to do the like, the internal monologue? Like, that's so central to the Death Note story."
like, I think he's only light in, like, the demo when they were, like,
Mm.
doing the conceptual they were, like, figuring out the album, but, like, the full thing of, like, the early version of it is on YouTube, and every song that where he's Light Yagami is on it, and it's, like, really good. There was a recent UK production, I believe, of Death Note the musical last year. Like, they finally, like, did it again. 'Cause it had a run in, like, Japan and, like, some other countries, but it had been a while before it went anywhere after that, but they brought it back again in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, last year.
Brie, did you see Jeremy Jordan when he did his solo concert here in LA?
No, I didn't know he had a solo concert. Oh, I'm actually upset that I missed that.
Next time he's here, I'll be emailing you because it's
No,
pretty fun.
let me know. But, yeah, I guess that's the main thing that's been keeping me animated, and it's very light, like, it's not, like, a big, big hyperfixation, but I've just been, like, slowly, like, looking at artwork of Lucifer from Hell of a Boss and thinking about his dynamic with Alistair, the radio demon, and, like, what that could entail for season 3,
Mhm.
and also, it's just I don't know, his character design is, like, really fun to me, like, the ringmaster vibe of it all. I'm not, like, a big fan of most of the characters in Hazbin Hotel besides Husk, like, so and that's the one
You
voiced by Keith David for people who don't know, but like, the only merch that I have of Hazbin Hotel is a pin that is on my fridge of Lucifer that I bought at Anime Expo.
That's good merch, man.
Yeah, and it's a very fancy pin, it's very fancy. After this, I'll go get it and I'll show it to you.
Thank you. I do wanna
Mhm.
see. I love that. Their relationship makes me laugh. It's just like, they hate each other so much. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Maybe they should kiss? Who's talking so loud? What?
What? Huh?
What? Who's talking so loud? I don't is that the
I don't
wind?
know.
Who
Is that
said
the
Uh,
that?
wind? I don't know.
maybe they should kiss? Huh? What?
Like, what?
Um, well, I have been reminded that I have to go check on some kittens.
Oh, no! I'm sorry. I feel like I
No,
keep yapping so much and,
I
like,
forgot. I wanna keep yapping, but I do have to go cat sit some kittens that were freshly born,
mm.
fresh out of the oven. Well, they're not that fresh anymore. I think they're a few weeks, but, like, they still little. Very exciting. But, yeah, I've had so much fun. I could talk to you for hours. You're just I'm my kind of person, just to be excited. That was so much fun. Thank you so much, Bree. Do you have any final words of advice for young people who wanna make a show, work in production, or be a storyboarder, just general art
Um,
people?
I guess the basic advice I can give you is, like, be kind, and I know that sounds very generic, but kindness truly does go a long way because you can be a savant, but if your personality is terrible, like, you're not, like, can't get social cues personality, but I mean, like, if you're, like, a dick, like, do not be a dick. because nobody wants to work with somebody like that. And kindness is like more important to have, I feel like, in this industry, because we all got to where we are because someone was kind to us and helped us. And being able to pay that forward, or just being a genuine person and not like using people, is so important, I feel like. And don't be afraid. I know it's like hard to say that. It's easier said than done, because like we all have anxiety, we're all nervous, but like, and I know networking is very scary. It's a scary word, but as long as you are yourself and you approach people genuinely, like wanting to learn more about them and their craft, especially if it's like something that you're trying to do, people are receptive to that and they want to help you. And even if they don't get back to you, it's probably not personal. It's they probably just got busy. So yeah, kindness, being genuine, and just doing your best to not be afraid to reach out to people, because 9 times out of 10, like, people do genuinely wanna help you and see you succeed.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Thanks so much for hanging with us. This is awesome.
Thank you for having me. Also, please watch my pilot, please.
Yes, everyone go watch it, like, comment, leave a review. I don't know.
I enjoy comments are good for the algorithm, please.
Exactly. It's really
Hit that
helpful.
hit that bell icon to be
Oh,
updated.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, I'm not good at
Subscribe.
advertising.
Share with a friend, tell a friend. It's very helpful. But yeah, thank you so much, Bree, for being a guest. This was so fun. I'm having the best time.
Thank you for having me, guys.
That was our conversation with Bree.
I love people who love anime.
Bree loves anime. Can confirm.
And
I love people who love cartoons as much as I do. Same nerd brain.
climb to climb communication.
Clown con conversation. Ugh, that was so fun. I wish I could talk about cartoons forever instead of doing my job. Yeah. No, that's lovely. I also wanted to highlight that in the pilot for the 3 tomes, if you're a true anime fan, you know how in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, they would do the little commercial breaks like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. They added that in the pilot, the little commercial breaks. It would go, the 3 tomes, and then the 3 tomes. It was great. Love that detail.
Important.
It's important. Just culture. Well, Marv, I hope you get some more rest and you sleep for 7 days straight.
I would love to sleep for 7 days straight. That's not gonna happen, but
Yeah, not like a coma, but like you sleep a lot, you wake up, you eat, and then you go back to sleeping, watch some anime, sleep, like that.
what you just described is my perfect week. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that for you next week.
Thank you. I wish for you next week you have a chance to talk to more people who love cartoons.
That's the goal, always. Well, let's say goodbye to our listeners. Thank you so much for listening, and remember that our cover art is made by Les. Podcast is edited by Marv. I don't know if there's any other like thingies, but remember,
there's
not
one
right
way.
to move from Illinois to LA. Just generally move to LA. There's not one right way.
So true. There's not one right way to start a podcast with your creative partner and then do a spin-off podcast of the podcast.
And there's not one right way to start an amazing pilot, animatic pilot about a gay love triangle with vampires. Go watch it right now on YouTube. It's free. The 3 tomes.
3 times.
Thanks so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.